Okay, here we go. Florida Gators heading to Coral Gables. Miami minus 7.5 is the line. Game total 51.5. Okay, so honestly, I'm playing Florida on the money line just because they've got to complete the circle. So what I mean by that is South Florida beat Florida. Miami beat South Florida. Now to complete the circle, Florida has to beat Miami. Um, I'm on Florida plus the 7.5. I don't feel great about it, especially because I really like that Miami offensive line, but I feel like Florida, Miami, they just had a legitimately tough non-conference game at home against South Florida. I don't know if it's gonna be like a hangover from a matchup with South Florida, but there was a lot, there were expectations on that game. So and they came out and met them. The Gators have to get this win. Um, Florida has got a brutal schedule to start the year. Let's go. I just want to run this down real quick. So Florida, they opened against the Long Island Sharks in in Gainesville and won 55-0. Look great. Then they lose to South Florida 18-16. Then they lose to LSU by 10. They've got Miami here. They've got Texas on deck, and Texas A&M after that. They do have a bye week in between, so they'll be able, so they're gonna have it's not a true look ahead spot just because you've got you got 2 weeks to prepare for Texas. Um, so I'm not really concerned with the look ahead, but they need this game like blood. Like if they don't if Florida doesn't get this win, um, you could make a pretty good case that their season's going to be over in pretty short order. So, and what I mean by that is not even being bowl eligible. And like what I mean by that is okay. So you got after this, you got Texas, Texas A&M, Mississippi State in Gainesville. That's probably the easiest game left on their schedule. But Mississippi State has been frisky this year. Then you get Georgia coming to Gainesville. That's going to be tough. You have to go to Kentucky. That's always tough. Then they end at Old Miss and Tennessee coming to Gainesville, and then before the rivalry game with Florida State. So they've got like nothing but heavyweights from here on out. I mean, I guess you could make a case that Mississippi State and Kentucky aren't that bad, but everything else is, we're talking murderers row with the SEC and ACC here. So they've got to get this game. Otherwise, we're looking at what a potential for like a 3-win season, 4-win season. That's when coaches get fired. So they've got to go into Coral Gables and they got to show out. I like what the Florida defense actually did a good job of containing the LSU offense. They limited only 20 points. They kept them in that game for the most part. They did seem to bother Garrett Nutzmeyer a fair bit. They struggled in the ground game. That's going to be a concern here because they got 2 running backs that they really like and that beefy offensive line. They got to get something. DJ Lagway's got to get something going. Um, he sent me off a game where she threw 5 interceptions. That's got to get better. They got to tighten that up. So I I don't think I think Florida does enough to not they're going to go out of their way not to let Lagway make those mistakes again. Um, and I like them to keep this close. Give me Florida plus the 7.5. I think this has got to be a 1-score game. I kind of like Florida to come up and get Miami because I think this is a case of Miami. Like maybe reading a bit too much of their own newspaper clippings. They're gonna have a number next to their name. I'm sorry, they do have a number next to their name, and they're ranked 4th in the country. I don't know if they're the 4th best team in the country. So give me the SEC team to cover this. I don't love it. I will bet this, and I'm kind of looking forward to this game. But also, I feel like this line is really short. And whenever I see that makes me want to bet the side that I think is too short. Like I feel like a 3-0 Miami team that's looked really good against some heavyweight competition should probably be favored a bit heavier, especially at home. That being said, with the way that Miami crowds have been, this could be close to like a 50-50 crowd or like a 60-40 crowd for Miami. So with that in mind, I don't think it's going to be as hostile of an environment as say some of the other places that Florida has to travel. So give me the Gators plus 7.5. I'm kind of talking myself into it, um, and I don't think I can get to the money line, but they got to get this game. So give me Florida plus 7.5 in a must win, circle the wagon spot.